Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. And we're going to be doing one more pseudo mystery? No, it's a mystery. It's not pseudo. Mystery homebrew. Courtesy of my boy Garrett. Yeah, he's like, I'd love to send some homebrew. I kind of want to send him mystery style. That's what he did. So, the thing is, there's no one wrapping here. We have no label or anything like that. He sent me a PDF with the information. So we will unwrap that once we're done drinking it. I've done one of these already. You can go back and watch that one. I implore you. Let's dive into this one. Bottle. What more do you want? What more? You need a bottle opener. That's what we need. Ooh, nice little carb on that. Little pop. He sent these, I want to say, the middle to the end of March. We are at the end of April right now, so keep that in mind. A little bit of time in this one. It took me that long to get to it. But as far as that beer goes, just from me being Dirty Glass Mafia, I kind of want to say it's like an ESB. It has this kind of copper color penny kind of look to it. So you're going Kolsch, you're going ESB, not really Kolsch, maybe Vienna Lager, ESB, a bunch of different things. It could even be like a really malty West Coast IPA, but it's got this nice rich kind of amber mixed with copper kind of color to it. Same thing, it has this soft tannish, slightly tannish kind of head to it, and a nice soft carbonation and a little bit of haze to it, not all that turbid. So a relatively clear beer for home brewing purposes. It's a good nose. Yeah, really, it comes off as just like a little bit of tannic tea-like vibes. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of kind of caramel, a little brown bread, a little bit of herbal kind of tea-like kind of hops, done and done. It really does come off kind of like an ESB to me on the nose. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah. I think that's what it is, honestly. I really do think it's like English. It could be an ESB. It could be. Actually, no. I'm just gonna say ESB because there's a decent bittering to it. It's not hyper aggressive. I think it's a low ABV beer. I think we're something flirting in and around the 5% range. I want to go lower than that. I want to go 4.2, but at homebrew level, I know it's a little harder to get down there. But you get this little sweet malty, bready component to it, brown bread, and then you get that pop of those kind of herbal tea-like hops. Nice mouthfeel to it, very clean, almost lager-like kind of drinkability to it, but I don't think it's a lager. It's just an ale yeast, maybe cold fermented ale yeast, ESB. Done and done. I will say this, though, Garrett. I am getting that squeakier, cleany kind of minerality that I got on the other beer here. The water chemistry is very, very kind of just mineral leaning. A very kind of it's not salinity. And that's pretty much what I said in the previous review of the other beer that you sent. There was just this kind of water chemistry, kind of minerality thing that is conditioned heavy, mineral-like. And I'm getting that here too, and it's very, very readily apparent for me. Now, when I posted that and you kind of talked about it, and you're like, okay, I didn't really do much with the water. I think this is where maybe this kind of practice comes in really, really well, like a positive thing. I'd love to see you send these to maybe a couple different beer tubers or even some people outside of your area. This could be a water profile thing that is very just kind of localized to where you live, to where you don't perceive it all that much. But for me, I do. Unless you're totally stripping down the water and you're building it back up. But it doesn't detract from this beer, but it adds that kind of lager-like kind of squeakiness to it. But like I said, I still think it's an ale yeast. And like I said, maybe cold fermented, but it could be that minerality thing. But I'm going to call it a 4.5% ESB. Let's see what we got going on. Dun, dun, dun. Unlabeled beer, bottle of beer. Okay. Okay, it's unlabeled, is a best bitter. Okay, fair enough. ESB works for me. 4.7, so we're 0.2 off. 88% Maris Otter, 4% Chateau Biscuit, 4% Crystal 15, 4% Simpsons DRC. An insignificant pinch of midnight wheat for color adjustment. Okay. Hops, I didn't say it, but very two different kinds or two different doses of Ken Golding, so it's definitely those old English hops at 20 minutes and 60 minutes. Verdant IPA dry yeast from Lalamond. This one was brewed on my 2-gallon kitchen pot and fermented in 1-gallon plastic fermenter. I was basically trying to get a good beer out of the most budget-friendly equipment that I could muster. I think it came out okay. It's very caramel, raisin forward. Didn't really get a ton of raisin here. So much so that I'm confusing it with diacetyl. I don't really get any kind of diacetyl on this at all. I don't. And I understand, like, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't get any kind of buttery vibes. Don't think it's there, but could be wrong. So I think the recipe needs adjustment for a little bit more bittering. I'd love to know your thoughts as well. I actually like the bittering level on it. If I was going to really kind of tweak this in any form or fashion, outside of that water minerality thing, which I don't think is overt negative, it's almost like a calling card, I would say, after having two beers of yours. I like a touch bump in mouthfeel. You're throwing wheat in there for a color adjustment. I think that's just because you're going heavy in Crystal and Maris, and I think you just want it to be a touch lighter. Maybe a little bit of flaked wheat, maybe a little bit of flaked oats. I think not to add like a really turbid, thick kind of mouthfeel to it, just add just a little silkiness to it, I think would go a long way for me. But as it sits right now, I think it's a really fun, well done on the malty side. But there's a decent amount of bittering here that it really does come off as the beer I thought it was. And while, like I said, that minerality portion of the show is not necessarily like for me like an awesome component, I find it interesting, and I do think it lends itself to making the beer infinitely drinkable because it adds this super clean crispness that a la lager to a drinkable beer, and I don't think that's a negative thing. I think this is really, really tasty, man. And like I said, don't think there's any really diacetyl in here. I don't really get much of anything. DMS, diacetyl, maybe if I'm kind of really kind of pushing for something, maybe the slightest touch of oxidation. It's older than it should have been when I reviewed it. It's an English beer. It's kind of supposed to be there anyway, so I'm not going to sit here and even talk about it. I just brought it up as a nitpicky point. Probably shouldn't even, because it's not really even there all that much, so I don't want you to stress over it. And just comes off as a really tasty beer. And honestly, two of the better homebrews I've had, to be perfectly honest with you. And the cool part is really, really far ends of the spectrum. You know, ultra hazy versus a nice kind of best bitter ESB kind of beer. It is, you know, two really well executed beers and very tasty stuff. I appreciate you sending them off. Very cool of you, dude. So there you go. Review in the books. Homebrew review in the books. Homebrew mystery review in the books. How about that? Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If y'all ever want to sign off homebrew, you're more than welcome. Reach out to me, matt@massivebeers.com. And just say, yeah, keep on chugging. Ripping English beers, homebrewing English beers, and yeah, appreciate y'all watching the channel. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of homebrew right now. Or mystery beers. Or both. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.